Oh dear. My father took me to take my hat off in company, so I'll do that. But this is adorable. I'm not turned on. I'm turned on. We are on. Can you hear me? All right. Oh, this is. Try again. This chord needs a little encouragement. Here it is. We're all right on. You're working very, very hard. As you know, much harder than you yet know. This building of the channel that we spoke of earlier and created for not only the earth but for all of creation, the magnification now is something that you cannot truly appreciate. Some of you are getting a sense of it, but the reality is much greater than any of us yet know, particularly the personality Brian. He sees the shifts, cannot believe them, has to look at it again and again and again and again to see that this area was secured, that the mineral kingdom is indeed magnifying to the extent that he sees and is told, and that everyone is a generator of magnificence. It's not something that's easy for a finite discipline such as earth living for us ever to believe that we could become. So we have a bridge, do we not? A bridge between our perceived reality and the reality that we are becoming. And the reality that we are becoming is much more rapid. Things I saw this morning with this very wonderful group, and we applaud you. It's something quite magnificent. You're going to be working a little harder than some other groups simply because you've decided to work as a group. And that's always the application. We never know, or at least Brian isn't told. I think that's the truth. Yeah. Brian isn't told which direction you're going to go. These tapes will be magnificent for all of you and for the world, seemingly, is their suggestion, but we haven't heard the end of it, so don't count on it. And the sheer dynamics of what was achieved this morning will reverberate throughout creation, are and will reverberate throughout creation. And for us, in our confinement within a physical body, it's almost unbelievable. Brian, who's had a number of experiences that others may not have had, this is phenomenal to he who understands the one end. He understands the source level, does not understand the physical level. So it's a great magnification for his truth, which are our truth. So there can be no separation. You see this? It's simply not possible for one person to be greater than another. On this level of consciousness where you deal with control, and another great control called karma, karma has been so badly abused in the seven god country, India. They should be aspiring to much better quality of life, but they don't. Why don't they? They take it on themselves, do they not? They sit in their own little spiral of look what I have done. And it's not a manifestation of ego, it is a connection, but it does not transfer to others. Their religions do not transfer to others, for if they did, all the prayer and communion with God, everyone would leave this planet, most surely. So India, they give it out, they don't anchor. I've had several questions. My answers have been somewhat flip because I thought everybody knew what anchoring was. So let's discuss anchoring energy, which is what you're doing so profoundly. We anchor now not just the universal level or the galactic level. In the past, you have anchored Sanat Kumara. In your religious text, Sanat Kumara was the Father. The confusion lays with who is the Father. Some have called Melchizedek the Father. These are all limitations, gentle ones, for they are the same spark of divinity that you are, that had greater experience in some instances, or more time and dense physicality is another way to put it. Time as we know it. What we've achieved thus far is a magnification of a process that's so evident now, and we can see and feel as you allow yourself to relax into what you are becoming, a presence that you've not been able to do ever on this planet. I say ever because we didn't have the feminine principle of existence. This is one of the disabilitating facts. 300 million years ago, there were, we have to go longer than that, so we did have civilizations of magnificence. And we speak of heaven on earth, that was the magnificence. But the densities were still not heaven. It depends what one's view of heaven is. If it's the fifth astral level, that's not much of a heaven. And yet that's what you're all relegated to with this system. And it's not because the priest tells you. It doesn't work that way. So regrettably, the structure that has not worked has created so much disillusionment and disfranchisement, the disconnectedness with the wholeness of self, that man now, with a vibration of earth raising so dramatically, feels deceived. I have been lied to, and it's not because these teachers, Jesus and the others, Peter, wish to deceive anyone. Their assignment was misappropriated. The gift we gave the earth was misaligned, distorted. It was not viewed by beings who understood what was said. And there was so much distortion in what we said that it's not recognizable now. The gentle one, Jesus, is here. And we must realize that this force was not Jesus per se. This was a collectivization of energy. They all carried one of the 12 rays. You understand this? Jesus carried the 6th ray. Peter the 2nd ray, the love ray. So we had an overshadowing, an overlighting is what some of you would call it. Because there was no way you could do your 6th, what was referred to with the Essenes and others in the past, as you view it. It's called the 6th initiation. Could not be achieved. So Maitreya did not wish to take the chance of not fulfilling his mission. And I say his mission, he was not, we misjudged humanity's ability to accept divine unconditional love. It's still not able to accept divine unconditional love. And all of us know this. They haven't had, we get a trace of unconditional love as I am getting right now. That's affection. Oh, I shouldn't have talked about tape. I shouldn't have talked about tape. Are we all right now? Wow. We've had some times, until recent times, the first year, we could not be recorded. And when we were, we would pick, like a radio station, we'd pick up other channels, the BBC one time. We hit Hubert on the German channel. And a choral ensemble from Bulgaria. So all these transmissions were coming through when we went into up to a certain level, and when we went into the spiritual, what we refer to as the spiritual realms, the monad, then it cut off. And the minute we got back in, as a discipline, it's quite a revelation really from our human perspective. We got back into a vibration that was a physical in nature, universal in nature, then with that picking up these radio stations. So it was quite there is no phenomena. It's anything that's phenomenal or a phenomena or paranormal is what we don't understand. But our omnipresence, which we are creating, does understand. It's the confusion we have in density that says these things are paranormal. They cannot be. Look what this person's able to do. You see this? So we've got great gratification knowing that it's not working. For this truth has been so misaligned here. Everyone else creates your reality. To some extent that is absolutely true. For the last 250,000 years, someone else has always done it for you. Have they not? And you've always given your power to someone or something. Many of you women feel that you've given your power to your men. The men feel they've given it to the job or the government. And many young lives, needlessly, have been lost. Not because there is death, but it's because of lack of experience. Death does not exist. So the significance of life, it takes so long to gain wisdom, does it not? We become wise, or we have in the past, if we become wise at all, it takes sequential time. And to be eliminated because of somebody's war between civilizations, that you can look into this room and you can see the makeup of your genesis, your beginning. I don't ask that you see it, I ask that you get a sense of the various civilizations that seeded the peoples for earth inhabitation. Habitation even. And in all of this, you remind yourself that your experiences have been many and varied, and you've all been all colors, you've all been all sexes. Your genetic coding would maybe be specific, and there would be about 23 major civilizations breathing into your becoming whatever that civilization was in the beginning. All of a sudden, we're going to be talking about abundance. We're going to be talking about the abundant life as it relates to spirituality. Not more than you need have, but certainly enough. And this is where man gets confused when he asks. Forever he said, please God, give me my new car, or let me win this football pool. I guess that's England. Let me win the lotto, because I promise you I will spend it very well. I will give so much to the church, and I will give so much to my mother-in-law whom I don't like, and I will give, yes I will, yes I will do all those things, dear God. And we live in this fantasy world where we become beggars. It's not a time to beg anymore, it's a time to become and live one's reality. And the reality has shifted, the paradigms of one's reality has shifted so dramatically that you literally live in the relative now. You cannot live in the absolute now because we don't know what it is. We know as close as we can get to the now would be the undifferentiated source. But we're absolutely convinced that it's an ongoing journey, that there is much beyond the level of unlimited numbers of cosmic days. It's definitely down here to realize, or even to think, and you've been led to believe forever that this is all there is. So we expand that view in consciousness, and we can do it for all of creation. Open yourselves up, gentlemen, as you are. You're being looked at. Some of you have very deeply rooted belief structures that regrettably have no interfacing with spirituality. And we have so many civilizations on earth that are at each other's throats. That's very, very deep, because it goes back to the beginning of seeding this civilization. I was asked about the Cabal and the Jewish, not that these people are or were, but everyone was.